Hi there, and welcome to the recording of Networking with LinkedIn for Job Search. My name is Fama Tufexiev, and I'm an employment specialist with Next Steps Employment Center, the Riverdale location. This webinar is going to cover what networking is, online networking, a brief introduction into what LinkedIn is and how it works, and some strategies of how you can use LinkedIn for networking. So, networking is a strategy to build positive relationships with people that can provide you essential information to help you in your job search. One of the important words in that sentence is the word strategy. With networking, it's sort of like you're planting seeds and you're not sure when those trees will grow. But if you're strategic about making sure you spread out the seeds and you nurture them, it's my gardening analogy here, then you're more successful in having them grow and be able to connect with people that will help you in your job search and lead to your next job. So with networking, it's really important to make sure you're contacting people you already know and people you don't. And this is one reason I really love LinkedIn to help stay organized with your networking. With people you know, it's really easy to make assumptions that people you are already connected to won't be able to help. Maybe all of your friends work in the financial industry and you really want something that's more creative or artistic. And you might think, oh, well, I don't know anyone who works in a creative industry. But you don't know who your connections are connected to. Maybe one of your good friends has other friends that would be able to help you in your job search. And that's why LinkedIn is so great because you can see who your connections are connected to. Likewise, it's important to get out of your comfort zone and reach out to people who you haven't met before and see what information you could get from them. Throughout the networking, you want to make sure that you're letting people know that you're looking for work and you're doing this in a positive way. How you act in your job search is a reflection of how you may act when you're hired at work. So if you are sounding very negative about your previous experiences or just really self deprecating, that's going to impact people's impression of you and whether or not they will want to refer you to a friend or even hire you. And also important to keep in mind that we are asking for information when we're networking. We're not asking directly for a job. When we message people and we ask them for a job, they may feel pressured and then maybe put them off from, interacting with you further. So rather than being that direct is actually a lot more helpful and useful to instead phrase it as you're looking for information that will be helpful to you in your job search. So with networking, you really are selling yourself, you're promoting yourself. And so it's important before you even start to have a good understanding of your own strengths and skills. And likewise, also have an understanding of what it is you're looking for. If you're messaging people and you're saying you're looking for work, and they ask you, well, what type of work are you looking for? And you say, anything. I will take anything. That's really not helpful. When you don't have a direction or have a goal in mind, it's hard for other people to, be able to give you a goal and help you in that way. So it's important to kind of figure these things out before you start messaging others so that you'll be more successful in your networking efforts. As I mentioned, stay positive. I know job searching is very tough and very exhausting. So please have, your close friends and family to vent and to have their support when you are going through this process. But when you're reaching out to your network, it's important to try to stay as positive as you can. Useful to ask questions. So with networking, you want to inquire if they know of any job opportunities, if they have any suggestions for you about the application or interview process, especially if you're talking to somebody who works at a company that you really want to work for, they're the best people to give you advice on how to apply and how to interview, since they've been through it themselves and they've seen what works for them and for others in the company. And it's always a good idea to ask if they know of anyone else for you to speak with that might be helpful. Maybe if they have any other connections with people in your industry or in the company you want to work for. And that way you have a warm referral and you're more likely to have a positive connection. And very important to always show gratitude and appreciation for anyone who gives you information, referrals, or their time. The thank you note is so, so important. People love being thanked. So if you do speak with anybody, always remember to follow up with a thank you, and it will really go a long way. So LinkedIn is a networking website that as a social media platform rather, that is for professional networking. So unlike Facebook or Instagram or other platforms that are a bit more focused on social and focused on your family, your children, your personal hobbies, on LinkedIn, it's important to stay as professional focused as possible. So how it works is you have a profile, so you're in the center, and everyone that you connect with would be your first degree connection. Those people you connect with could be friends of yours, family members, people you've gone to school with, people you've worked with. They don't have to be people that you're very close with in real life, as long as in a professional context, you would speak with them. And if you add people that you have never met before in real life, you want to make sure it's a meaningful connection, meaning you want to follow up with a message to introduce yourself or to engage with them. Because if you're just adding people without giving them a personalized note, then later on, if you need their assistance, it won't go as far. So everyone in your first degree will have a little one next to their profile to show that they're a first degree connection. And then everyone that they're connected to would be a second degree connection. And everyone those second degrees are connected to would be a third degree connection. So on LinkedIn, you can see if someone has a little 2 next to their name or 3, how many degrees of separation they're away from you. And this is what's so powerful, because you might want to connect with somebody that works at Rogers, and you might look and you don't know anyone who works there, but you have several second degree connections, meaning people that know people who work at Rogers. And when you reach out to those contacts, it helps give you an extra little pull, because you can say, oh, I came across your profile since we both have John Smith in common. And then that way they're more likely to trust you and speak with you, since they know you both have a mutual contact in common. With LinkedIn, as another caveat, you can have a free account. There's also a premium account where you have to pay a monthly fee. Personally, I think the free account is wonderful. It does everything that you need it to do to job search successfully. And I have a personal philosophy, which is to not pay for anything when you're job searching if a free service is available. So my personal recommendation would be to just get the free account, but you can have a free 1-month trial with the premium. So go ahead if you want to, you can try that and see for yourself if you feel it's worth spending the extra money or not. So where to start with the networking? Before you even get to your LinkedIn page, it's really useful to think about breaking up your networking to 2 different categories. And the first, the people you know and people you don't know. So the first, people you know, think about all the different areas of your life, whether they're people you've worked with, past colleagues, professional contacts, maybe people that they didn't work at your company, but they worked for a different company and you would have to communicate with them. They would know you in a professional capacity, classmates, previous professors, friends, family, anyone in your community, neighbors, people you volunteered with, people you've organized social events with, or hobbies. I've had clients who've gone work from their volleyball team, or they've gone work from, their next door neighbor refer them to somebody. So really, you never know who knows who. And what I think, once I've added these people onto my LinkedIn network, my strategy is that every week I would recommend messaging 5 people that you already know in real life, and send them a message so that way you're networking with them. And the goal of that message is to A, let them know that you're looking for work and the type of work you're looking for. B, ask them, depending on what type of work they do, perhaps they could give you information to help you in your job search. Perhaps you can ask for them to refer you to somebody in their network that might be able to help. But by pulling out these feelers, what you're really doing is you're letting more people in the world know that you're looking for work, which will then increase your chances of hearing of opportunities as they come up. And you want to stay organized with your networking. So if somebody responds to your message, you want to return that response, within 24 hours ideally, but stay on top of your correspondence. And you want to reach out to people in all of these different categories. So here's an example of me messaging somebody on LinkedIn that I am already friends with or already know in my personal life. So I wrote here, hi, I just came across your profile on LinkedIn and realized I haven't spoken to you in a while. How are you? How has your work been over the last few months? Have you been able to work from home? It's definitely strange times we're living in. Hope you're doing well and enjoying this lovely summer weather. So in this message, I opted to start off with just inquiring how they're doing, because inevitably they're going to respond and ask how I am. And I will then take that opportunity to let them know that I'm looking for work and to kind of fill in that networking piece. Sometimes I like this approach because I find if I haven't spoken to somebody in a few years and I message them out of the blue and I jump right into the fact that I'm job searching, to me that can come across a bit opportunistic, or they might feel like I'm using them or I'm only messaging them for that one purpose. So what I've found in the last 10 years of coaching clients is that this approach has a very high success rate of getting a response from the individual and then having more of a back and forth correspondence that leads to positive networking connections. So in this scenario, they would respond saying, hi there, I'm working from home and it's been going well. I love the project and the team I'm with right now. How is your work going this summer? So again, the natural thing is to ask how I am, and then I could then respond and let this person know, respond to what they've said. So I'm so happy that you're loving your job and that working from home has been going well. It's an adjustment for everyone, but it's definitely easier when you have a supportive team to work with. And then I would say, I'm doing well, thanks. Not sure if you heard, but I left my position with ABC Company back in March. I'm currently exploring opportunities for work related to my graphic design experience, ideally in Toronto. If you hear of any openings, could you keep me in mind? Would greatly appreciate it. And let me know if I can be of any help to you as well. So a couple things, and again, how you word this message will completely depend on how well you know this individual, and you want it to sound natural in your own words, because networking is most successful when it feels like it's personalized and it doesn't feel like it's a script that you're just copy and pasting for everyone. And in this message, I'm letting her know the type of work I'm looking for, so related to my graphic design experience, and ideally in Toronto. So I'm also kind of showing a bit of a focus in where I'm looking. And one other great thing is I'm showing appreciation for any help. And I'm also saying, let me know if I can be of any help to you as well. Because even though I'm unemployed and even though they are working, doesn't mean that our relationship is unequal. It doesn't mean I have less than them and therefore I'm in need of something from them. Even when you're unemployed, you always have things that you could offer, whether it's information or resources. So even simply by putting that question at the end, it just makes it look like it's more of an equal interaction. So that's one option. Another would be if you decided to put it all in one message. So here I wrote to somebody and I said, it's been so long since we last spoke. How are you doing? I heard you had a new baby about a year ago. How is she doing now? Is she walking? Since we last spoke, I left my position with ABC Company and I'm currently in transition looking for new positions related to my experience in graphic design and illustration. It's been tricky job searching during a pandemic, but it's also been a great opportunity to explore my options, and I'm looking forward to finding the right fit. I was wondering if you knew of anyone in this industry that you could connect me with for networking or employment opportunities. And if there's anything I could do to help you, please let me know. Thanks so much. And this person wrote back, hi, thanks for your message. Really nice to hear from you. My daughter is great, thanks. Slowly learning how to walk and getting into a lot of trouble in the process. I'm glad to hear you're pursuing a job in graphic design. I know it's your passion. I'll definitely look through my Rolodex to see if there's anyone who I think could help you take your job search to the next level. In the meantime, good luck in your search. Maybe when this crazy time is over, we can grab a coffee. So, I think in this interaction, one thing that helped it become so successful was the personalized touch about asking about how their family is doing. Um, Again and again, I've been coaching people on using LinkedIn in some capacity over the past 10 years. And one thing that I found again and again to be really true with networking is that people don't like when they feel like they're being used or when they feel like it's impersonal. So just taking that extra effort to do your homework, to look into, to understand what it is you're hoping for from this interaction really helps increase the chances of it being successful. And remember, at the end of the day, people want to help. People who know you especially want to help you, and you have nothing to lose. The worst thing that would happen is I would send this message and I would get no responses back. But if I do 5 of these per week, that can be a really great way to help move my job search forward. So in addition to that, I would also want to network with people that I don't know. So every week, just like I'm messaging 5 people I'm currently connected to, I also want to message 5 people I have never met before. So there's a few ways to do this. On LinkedIn, you can search for a company that you want to work for. So let's say I really want to work for Ubisoft. They're a video game company located in Toronto. So I search that name on LinkedIn, and then once you find a company on LinkedIn, you can see all the employees who work at that company who have a LinkedIn profile. So I can see all the staff working at Ubisoft, and then I can sort through them and see, different position titles and decide who I want to message. So that's one strategy. Another is you can search on LinkedIn for job titles. So maybe I'm looking for work as a graphic designer, so I search on LinkedIn for other graphic designers in Toronto, and I get some ideas from them about how they got their work and what suggestions they have for me as somebody looking for work in this field. And the third option is to look at the people that you are connected to and see who their connections are, and see that way if there's somebody that you think might be helpful in your job search. When you're doing this, my recommendation would be to first send a connection request. Once they've accepted and you've added them as a LinkedIn connection, then I would send them a direct message thanking them for adding me, and at that point, begin my networking. So As an example, I just took some screenshots here, but let's say I search the company Ubisoft and then I see, okay, here are all the people who are currently working at Ubisoft Toronto. And I look at the people, I look at the job titles. So this person here, I don't know them. They're a director of human resources and we have mutual contacts. So I would click connect. When you click on connect, LinkedIn will say you can just go done and that will just send them a generic connection request. You never, ever, ever want to send a generic connection request because it looks very impersonal and lazy, to be honest. So you always want to click add a note. And in the note, you only have 300 characters. So this is going to be quite short. So as an example, I wrote, "Hi Poonam, I came across your profile as we both have Joe Smith as a common connection. I am very interested in your work with Ubisoft and I would appreciate connecting with you on LinkedIn. Thank you." This is very short. It doesn't give it a lot of detail, but what she's going to get from this is that I am professional, we both have a mutual contact in common, and I'm friendly. Three things that are going to help her want to say yes to connecting with me. Once I have received a notification that she's accepted my request, I'm then going to send her a message. And this is an example of what you could write. "So thank you for accepting my connection request. As mentioned, I am very interested in your work with Ubisoft Toronto. My personal background includes over 4 years in programming with experience working for video game companies in London, Ontario. I'm currently looking for opportunities for employment in Toronto where I can demonstrate my varied skill set and work on a project I'm passionate about. I was wondering if you could spare 15 minutes for a phone call for an information interview. As someone job searching in this industry, I feel your advice would be valuable and greatly appreciated. Thanks so much for considering this request." So again, how you word this is up to you and you want to make sure it sounds like your own language. But a few things that I'm getting across here is I'm briefly introducing myself, explaining that I have experience in this field. Um, maybe if I wanted to highlight a recent diploma or degree, I could. I'm mentioning that this is not just a job I'm looking for, but something I'm passionate about. And I'm asking for, an information interview. What that means is an opportunity to talk with her where I can ask her questions about her work or about what it's like doing hiring for Ubisoft and what recommendations she would have for me. And nowhere in this message am I asking her for a job. And if we did do this phone call, I still would not say, "Can you hire me?" All I'm asking for is information. So why would she say yes? If I don't know her and, everyone's busy and right now with COVID, we're working from home, why would she say yes to this request? There's actually a lot of reasons, but the shortest answer is people like helping other people. People like feeling like their information is valued and respected. All of us have a great deal of information that we could share with others, and we don't always have opportunities to do so. So here, this is kind of like a flattering message. I'm showing her gratitude and appreciation for her knowledge and her experience, and that's going to be something that people feel good about. So usually when you send these messages, um, from my personal experience of me like personally sending these messages, my success rate is over 75% for people responding yes. For clients of mine, it's anywhere between, for every 10 messages, you should get at least 5 saying, like responding with yes. And sometimes even higher success rate. So just keep in mind the worst thing that will happen is you won't get a response at all. But the best thing that could happen is it could lead you to your next job. So sending 5 of these per week that's my own personal suggestion. You can start with less if you want, but the strategy of 5 people you know, 5 you don't, can really go a long way with networking on LinkedIn. Other options for LinkedIn networking is you can share articles on LinkedIn. Just, an article you found on the Globe and Mail that relates to your industry, you could share that. If you wanted to write your own article about something to do with your profession, you could. You could share opinions, ideas, quotes. Just keep in mind that anything you share should be professional and it should be something that you feel comfortable with a future employer seeing. So again, try to stay clear of really personal topics, or topics that are not, comfortable in workplace. So usually we would say anything overly political or religious, or those types of topics we would want to stay away from. But things that relate to your industry would be very helpful. Um, you want to comment on posts made by your connections. So if you comment on people's posts, what happens is you show up in other people's news feeds. So what that means is that there's more of a chance of other people that you don't know coming across your profile. And with LinkedIn, you want more and more people to come across your profile because that increases the chances of employers or potential HR professionals seeing your profile. So those comments could just be, great post. I agree. Thanks for sharing. Doesn't have to be, really groundbreaking things, but by sharing short comments, it will increase your chances of being seen. It's also a good opportunity to congratulate your connections on new jobs or work anniversaries. LinkedIn will often share those updates from your connections. So if you see that, Sam Smith has got a new job, you would write a little comment saying, congratulations. You can join groups on LinkedIn, and you can follow companies or influencers. Influencers could be anyone from Bill Gates to Arianna Huffington. And by joining those groups and following those companies, again, it increases your chances of being seen by other individuals. So some last networking tips. Remember, you're asking people for information or for assistance in connecting with others, but we never want to put pressure on anyone. We always want to seem grateful and appreciative. When we're talking about our experiences, we always focus on the positive, and we're professional. So when you're sending these messages, don't use short form texting lingo. Write out the word you, Y-O-U, rather than just the letter U. But those little things can make a big impact in, coming across very professional. Set weekly goals for yourself to keep track of your efforts. Thank people for their time and follow up. If somebody says they're going to do something and they don't respond to you, there's no harm in waiting, a day or two and then following up with them. People are busy. Sometimes they forget, but following up can be really helpful. And that's it. So I hope you found this workshop helpful. This is more on how to use LinkedIn. If you need some assistance on how to create a profile, we have other recorded webinars on those topics. If you have more questions about LinkedIn or about job search in general, please visit our website and connect with the Next Steps Employment Center location closest to your home for free job search assistance. And I wish you the best of luck with your networking. Take care.